Okay, well, we're back. Just let me know. Yeah, audio's looking good. I'm gonna open this tab so I can remember to go through this. This is so this is twice now using this setup where either I drop frames until it's unviable or the whole like I've had it now the last couple times where the camera or the display just stops. But now like all of OBS had to be restarted. Um it's so dumb. Because now I can't inject it back into the original YouTube stream. So now I have two live streams, and it's frustrating. Nobody's gonna go back and watch two VODs. So anyway, what was I talking about? So I want to do build camera. All right, so badge. Everybody gets a badge. Right on the back is your schedule. You can scan that to get a schedule. The website is good, but it's very slow. And I've told our guy Josh about it. The problem is Josh 2 years ago had a heart attack while he was while he was getting ready for Sugarland for Brick Radio. He was at home. Something frustrating happened. Like this stranger, crazy lady rolled up to their house and started yelling at him and stuff. And I don't know what happened. They had to call the police. But anyway, it freaked him out and stressed him out, and he had a heart attack. It turns out he had like some heart issues anyway, and this exacerbated it. So he had surgery, and he had a thing. It's not a pacemaker, but it's like a pacemaker installed. And when his heart rate races, it basically shocks him. It doesn't keep the pace for the heart, but it monitors it. And if it ever gets out of whack, it shocks him and it resets the heart like a mini defibrillator, right? So he's been fine this whole time. He noticed that leading up to Brick Rodeo this last time, his heart rate was starting to get a little high, and he was kind of waiting for it to... At first, the pacemaker thing was like shocking him like all the time, and it was really disconcerting. But they finally fixed it. So this time we were doing a draft. He was doing a draft Friday night, and he started looking really pale. So he sat down, and then one of our lug friends was like, and then I heard like something come out of him that I didn't know he had a pacemaker or whatever. So I just heard this thing, which I thought was a biological noise. And it just sounded like a crack, like his ribs split open or something. And then, so they had to call 911, and he spent the night in the hospital. So he didn't even get to see the public days. Anyway, I give him crap because the website doesn't work. But I'm like, well, you've literally given your all for this. So anyway, the badges are nice, good quality, nice and thick. We get lanyards from Beyond the Brick. I think everybody kind of does. You get bricks for workshops as well. So if you want to attend the minifigure habitat building thing, you get some bricks for that. If you wanted to attend the tree workshop, you get bricks for that, right? On how to build trees and foliage. There's a workshop on how to do a Lowell sphere. Minifigures for whatever reason. Everybody got some minifigures. There was a quilting workshop, a lot of dots on a 6x6 thing. And then when it's done, everybody puts theirs together. Winter flagpole, right? And then fun parts, extra parts. And there's a brick in here that says like United States, whatever. I think these are just leftover bits, right? So that's cool. So you get all that. That's your swag. Like I said, I ended up with Jalen's bag, which I think is hilarious. So he sat next to me. Well, So we were in a corner, right? I can't even really build it, but like, here's our tables, right? And then there was a big table. There was a setup snafu where, I was given like a corner of a table for my microfighters, and I went and found Tim, and I was like, I think there's been a mistake, and he's like, why? It's like, because I registered for a full table full of stuff. He's like, yeah, for the castle, it's over there, and it's like, no, I didn't register for castle. I registered for space. I have like the table full of microfighters, and he's like, you didn't register for the big castle, and I was like, well, Texlug registered for the big castle. I didn't. So anyway, they shuffled some stuff around. Jalen had like a big display, and it was like a hangar with Millennium Falcon in it. And it's kind of your typical big display. It's a lot of gray brick. It builds a box. It's got some neat hangar quality bits in it. And then, a kit, Millennium Falcon sitting in the middle of it. And then between us and them was another build that was actually pretty cool. It was like half of a Lucre Hulk. And I thought it was just an unfinished Lucre Hulk. And it was like this big, right? It was like about that big around. But it was only like half of it in the sphere. And I thought, somebody brought half a model? That's lame. And then it turns out that was the point. And it was actually finished. And it was a pirated, the story behind it, that it was a pirate Lucre Hulk. Like somebody had unearthed it from like Braca or something and turned it into their pirate, headquarters ship. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then my stuff, right? So because it's not just Jalen, it's Jalen and his posse. He's always got to have like 4 or 5 dudes with him. They were all trying to cram into this little corner with me. And I'm like, all right. So all their stuff was all over the place. And like at the end of the day, they had already gone like before the end of the thing. And there was just trash everywhere. And I'm just like, you guys. So yeah, he left his bag there. And I didn't like grab it on purpose. I grabbed mine because I know I put that X-Wing in it. And then I was like, oh, there's an extra bag. So I was like, what do we do with extra bags? And we're like, well, you can keep them. So next year we might keep them and be like, hey, if you attended, here's your bag from last year. But I told Tim, I was like, don't ever sit me next to that guy again. Anyway. Whatever. He doesn't care. He doesn't know me. He doesn't care. So now that we're 36 minutes into this, I did want to give a little recap. Also, COVID sucks. I'm going to remind everybody that COVID sucks. We're having a virtual meeting today in lieu of a physical meeting, which is fine. I wasn't going to go anyway because I had COVID, but like 5 other people in our group got COVID, and all of those people, 5 of those had symptoms. So we don't know who else may have got it who is asymptomatic. So to be careful, to be whatever, we're doing it virtually. All right, Beth's going back to bed. She got it too. She's got it different than I did. I got it.
Who patient 0 was?
What?
I said, did you figure out who patient 0 was?
No. We know who reported it first. There's a guy in the railroad group TBRR named Anthony Sava, who's been in our groups for 15 years or more. His kid reported getting it, but I wasn't around his kid at all. But like his kid was around the train people. Yeah. I was around Gears and Steve Jackson and I think Nick, who were all near the train people. So, I mean, I could have got it from them. Could have got it from Glenn, who got it, who was around those guys. Yeah. Who knows? So.
I'm starting to sweat again, so I think my fever's breaking.
All right.
Anyway.
So, yeah, Beth got it about a day and a half later. Her symptoms started. I'm congested, still coughing, very dehydrated, always tired, and lost my sense of smell and taste, which is more disconcerting than you might realize. Like I can't smell myself, right? Usually there's like you smell stuff that you just ate, maybe still on your lip a little bit, or your own body odor, or your hair, or something, right? Stuff on your hands when you go to itch your nose. Like there's nothing. It's like a blank wall. and it feels a little bit like I've got like a bag over my head, and it's very claustrophobic. But I had this idea as I was, and I'm going to do it now because I think it's going to be fun. The reason I have a Classic Space Galaxy Explorer up here imported is because I was texting somebody and I wanted to say Classic Space. And then it ended up saying Vlasic. It autocorrected the word to Vlasic. I was like, what? So I was like, Vlasic Space. So now, my new project is to create a bunch of classic spaceships that look like pickles. Or that are pickle colored. And I'm going to call it Vlasic Space. And I might try to like get the logo on there instead of like the Classic Space logo, right? It'll be a combination of like dark green and light green, or like regular green and light green with like dark green stripes, and put little bumps of stuff everywhere. And like the bottoms of it will be dark green and the tops will be, or light green and the tops will be dark green. So they look like pickles. We might have different kinds of ships. So I'm going to play with it a little bit and I'm not going to like recreate, like this is Galaxy Explorer, but it's a pickle, right? It's going to be like built with the same pieces and look the same way as like Classic Space. So like, you know, the big fins and the pew pews and stuff like that, those style of pieces, but with greens. And so the problem is green is not the easiest color to work with. There's a lot of good green colors, but a lot of them don't exist in shapes like this, right? So you have to kind of figure out. Yeah, see, and a lot of these are old pieces. So you have to kind of figure out how to replace pieces like that while still retaining the aesthetic. Yeah, so like I could just select all the green or all the gray and just turn it green. Turn that off. And so we can do like, where's regular green? Green. Bright green. And then you get all the blue. And no, don't move it. See, this bothers me so much when I didn't want to move it and yet it moved it, and then it won't like revert the move, right? Don't save. New file, import, official Lego model, 497. Clicking Cliff, how's it going? So yeah, if we select all the gray, except for like these guys, I don't care about these guys. These crater plates. In fact, I don't even want the crater plates in here. Control Z doesn't undo the move. When it freaks like that, something I've noticed is the Control Z doesn't undo that move. Like I didn't want it to move, but it moved. Also, it's a drag. Like I didn't move it with a key. So if I did this, it shouldn't. Yeah, the weirdest thing. Like it'll drag it and move it, and then I do undo, and the first thing it does is like the last move before, you know, whatever. So if I do Control V, and this is an exercise because this obviously isn't going to work because I've got my filter off. So if I turn this all bright green and do all blue as dark green, this will give you the idea of like the colors we're working with. I think the yellow canopies will probably continue to work. The yellow trans would continue to work. The classic space figure pieces will all have to be regular green. Those guys will have to be regular green as well. And you can get classic green space guys off that. Yeah, the accidental move wasn't when the program registered. And I think what it was I had selected a group of colors and moved too fast. And so then the colors also then snapped to the mouse. And so when I let go, it didn't register that it had moved. I don't know about trans red yet. That's probably okay. So what I was thinking of doing is, so this is kind of the aesthetic, right? And then like you can put, like if you had a plate, do we have a dark plate round? So then you can put like bumps on the pickles, right? Because pickles kind of have bumps as well. So the ships can have bumps on them, right? Stuff like that. Or stripes, because they're cucumbers, and cucumbers sometimes have stripes. And then the undersides have seeds, right? So maybe a lighter green or something like that. So not recreating the classic ships. Like there's just too many classic ships. And a lot of them are very, very simple, like buggies and like 15-part air scooters and stuff like that. Like I was like, oh, this will be great. I'm just going to go through all the classic space sets and I'm going to look at their names. I'm going to import them and I'm going to rebuild them with greens. And then I'll just rename them something pickle related or cucumber related or pickling related or brine related, right? Yeah, there's so many that are just like, they're almost the exact same thing, but they're slightly different. You know, one's green, one's very light gray buggy. The other one's a light gray buggy with some blue in it. There's a lot of classic space sets. So I was like, no, I'll just recreate my own. So what I want to do is like do not pickle puns, but pickle adjacent stuff. So instead of the Galaxy Explorer, it's the Gherkin Explorer or the Dill Rover or the Kosher something or other, right? So whatever words for pickling or pickles or stuff like that, those become the names of the ships and they look like that, but built in the style of classic space, just with green. And so, and then in Parts Designer, I can, for at least digitally, I can get the Vlasic logo or the stork and have the stork on the chest of the people. And then I can maybe figure out how to do that in real life. So I think this would be a fun project. I wanted to get some stuff out publicly. So if somebody hears, because I told a bunch of people in my lug and I was like, I don't want to tell a lot of people because then, somebody might take the idea and get to it before I do. Doing a robot pickle would be great. There are a couple of those that was like a four-legged land walker. It was a robot command center that stood on two legs. Yeah. So if we looked at classic space, this is just going to come up with Galaxy Explorer, but so you can see how many like buggies are kind of similar, right? But like a base like this, it's very simple. I'm not going to get too carried away with it. And I might have to do, what color? I think I would still put it on like gray base plates though, if it was a base. But there's a definite style to classic space, even if you didn't have blue and gray involved. Like this guy would be a good example. So this is weird because this is classic space, but I would consider this proto-Futron because it's white and blue. And it's got these thrusters, which I didn't think were classic space thrusters. Anyway, so that's the next project. So I thought I'd put that out there. So let's not do this. Let's actually go with what's available. So starting anew, we are going to get, so let's turn our color palette filter back on. If we're going to build legs. So I also didn't realize that for the longest time, all these legs that had prints on them, I was like, you can't use these. I didn't want to use these because I couldn't bend them. And then somebody said, yeah, you can bend them. If you like pick this thing. Oh, now where is it? Nope. And then bend them. I don't know what I did, but okay. Anyway. So this can be done in green, bright green. And then torso. In also bright green. And right arm. And I'll work on a Vlasic logo to put on the chest here. That may be interesting. Let's do that as a fun thing. You guys have seen this a ton. I haven't done anything in Parts Designer ever. Let's see if we can work with that a little bit. See what happens there. I've only done one thing in Parts Designer, and it was pretty straightforward. I did the Q2 the Q2 thing. So here's the thing. The logo has this stork on it. That's actually really cool. I wish I could get that, but that doesn't look like it's actually part of it. I just need the stork's head. And I'm not opposed to like, oh, there we go. Perfect. I almost like the, where's that black and white one? Let's see if we can do black and white. Stork. I need a good shot of his head that I can turn into black and white, maybe in GIMP or something. They did have the side thrusters. I don't need him holding the pickle. I just need his head. Well, this is gonna be harder than I thought. Also, I like DuckDuckGo enough, but sometimes gotta do Google. Image, tool size, large. No. Wow. Okay. So is Parts Designer open now? Okay. Not now. Failed to initialize. Oh, cool. Well, there goes that. So we're going to do some design work here for a little bit. Open it up in GIMP. Okay. I thought I copied it. Copy image. There we go. All right. That's not a very vectory. I guess it's fine for now. So get rid of all this. The heck? Oh, it's not anchored. It's like this should be a lasso tool and get rid of all that. Layer. Right, select, invert, and delete background. No background. Have you updated Parts Designer? There was an issue with update between the two programs. I'll do that in the background over here while it's running. I'm sure my computer can handle Studio and... In fact, let's close Studio. Save as. New folder. Classic space. Model 1. All right, launch. All right, so I'm trying to make this iconic without, like I don't think I need, well, that was jagged AF. Come on, man. Why? Don't think I need the hand. Delete. Fine. Background. Create new. Part. Oh, won't let me do it. Okay. Let's get this background to be white. Select all. No. Let's get all of the background to be white. That's so frustrating. Don't know how that came back. Nope. What the heck? Delete. Okay. So this has to look good at about that size. Selection. No image. Crop to selection. All right, so let's save that. Done with you. Oh, wait a minute. Cancel. This needs to be, background needs to be not there. So, just realized that. There we go. That's more what I want. Let's save that. Export. And the birds outside are going crazy. I think they're almost like old enough to be flying away. I don't know why they're still out there. Save that for later. Okay, so we got parts designer over here now. Okay, stud, bottom hole. Okay, so there's... I think you have to import a piece, a shape, minifigure body. So I'm kind of learning this as we go too, because this isn't something I'm super familiar with. So just torso. There we go. Insert. All right, so here's your torso. I don't necessarily know what is front and back. I think it doesn't matter, right? And then I also want to. No, I don't want to import a part. I want to. Insert an image. So this would be in here. Lego. I don't think my Google Drive is keeping up either. Like, I must have an old Google Drive stub somewhere. See, and this isn't transparent like I wanted it. But that's the idea. Oh, maybe if I turn it the color, the background, the color of the part I'm going to use. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So there's your... okay, I'm going to redo it because the placement's not right. Oh, that cracked me up so much. Make it a little smaller and then raise it up a little bit. So, I wish it would... Like, is that too high? Well, let's see. No, I'm going with that. So, okay, then the idea is then we can also do import studio part, and then we'll do a 2x3 slope. Or no, I'm sorry, a 3x2 slope. So what are some other parts that are technically that have like classic space things on them? The tiles, 2x2 tile. It's not many. There's a weird, the 2x1s do too. Um, 2x1 slope. So that, yeah, that like 3x6 or 4x6 windscreen. Windscreen. Where is it? Oh yeah, this guy does for sure. That guy does. It's the, I think it's the slope. I think it's a 4x6 slope. No, 6x4 slope. Or is it out? No, it may not be that big. 3. Oh no, it's a 4x3 slope. Okay. These guys do. A 2x1 block. Okay. Let's get rid of that. 1x2 brick. That guy. What are those ones? I know I have some. Ooh, I may be running out of energy here in a second. They're 3x. They're like hollow underneath. I guess that's a windscreen. Yellow windscreen part, same size but solid. This one has a big emblem on it. Okay. The new Galaxy Explorer, the old one. Let's just look up Classic Space. Classic Space Lego. This piece. No, that's just a 3x or a 2x. Yeah, this piece right here. That's a 6x3. Why didn't that find that? Maybe it just doesn't exist in the parts designer. Slope. This guy. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. All right. So these are good starts. Yeah, there's the brick. Is that a 1x4? Maybe just a 1x2. We also have to figure out a you guys are involved now. It's a conspiracy. I have to figure out stuff like the venting bricks, the black and yellow. Although black and yellow on green would still kind of work. Not gonna lie. Let's see. Yeah, that's just a 1x2. I don't think many other ones had it. That big piece. Yeah, so let's go back here. And we do insert. Can I just copy? Nope, it's there now. Insert image. See, the slopes are weird because I don't know why that's not centered very well. It doesn't like to center it. Can I move it? Snap to grid is on. It's gonna clip the top though. That's probably fine. Okay, insert image. That's good. Nope. Insert image. All right, the problem is I'm gonna have to, I don't think I can, this has to be exported as a palette, I believe. Well, we'll get to that in a second. So this is weird because it will snap to the part in a second. That's too big. But it's got this weird thing where it won't, until you tell it it's okay, it won't actually lay down on the slope, so to speak. Like as soon as I click that, it goes down on the slope. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know if that's like I'm doing something wrong or something, but I noticed that when I was trying to do the Q2 thing too, I was like, just why are you not doing your thing? It's not very granular, is what I've noticed. So that should be okay. That's a little tall. There we go. No, that doesn't look good. It's stretched funny. Oh, this is cracking me up so much. You have no idea. All right, so just like any other video editing tool that has sort of a bounding box and then like control points around it to resize it, if you hold shift, it should keep the aspect ratio of the image. If you just grab one of the things without it and move it, it'll distort it. But if you hold shift while you're doing that, it'll just enlarge it. So keep that in mind when you're doing stuff like this. All right, that's pretty good. It still feels like it's stretched, but it's... This is so much fun. So yeah, if I hold shift, it just makes it bigger, right? If I don't hold shift, it does this. So make sure you hold your shift key down. I don't like that it's like slightly off-centered. Don't like that at all. All right, whatever. I'm just doing this for LARF. It's not like I'm sure if I print up actual stickers, it'll look different. This is just for fun. Okay. So I'm going to save this. Printed parts. Now, there's something you have to do for these specifically before you can open them up in, or maybe you could just, okay, so let's try this. So that's all saved. Save. So if we then open it up in Studio, I think you just import the parts. I'm trying to remember. So if we do import, no. Add palette. How did I do this last time? Click the part, then click export to, oh, all right. Let's do that one. Export as, export to Studio. Wonder if I can do all of them. See what happens when I do all of them. I hope it doesn't come across as like a whole palette, like I have to have all the parts in there or none of the parts in there. Custom parts palette, okay. So let's go ahead and restart that because I think it has to read the DAT file. I don't think you can do it on the fly. Custom parts palette 2. It's not in there. Oh wait. Custom parts. Custom new parts. Nope. Oh, that's kind of cool. New parts. I guess these are things that have been added recently. It's nice. Main. Custom parts. No. Bricklink common palette. Lego pick-a-brick palette. Custom palette 1. What's up, Cajun Yeti? Custom palette 2. So it's going to show us one brick. That's probably confusing it. Let's just do the torso then and see what happens. Export as Studio minifig for torso export. Okay. Let's see if this picks it up. I don't think it will. So let's restart Studio. We'll keep Parts Designer open. How are you doing today, Yeti? Hope everything's good. It's not showing up. Oh, add palette. I bet I have to do, no. It should just show up in there. I'm already running that. I don't need to run that again. Main categories. All right, so here's my palette. Hidden parts, new parts, custom parts. Custom parts. It should list it here from what I remember. Imports. Yeah, because when I was doing the Q2, it would show up as that. I don't even have that listed now. Add a palette. No, I don't want to add a palette. I want to add them. Config. There's no palette in there. So, Cajun Yeti, just so you know what we're trying to do, I had this great idea to make something called Vlasic Space. So I'm trying to import some parts to do green pickle themed space stuff. And it's going to be called Vlasic Space. Because I had a autocorrect in a message I was writing where it's like, did you mean to say Vlasic Space? And I'm like, no. And then I was like, heck yeah, that's hilarious. And so now we're going to do green stuff. But I wanted to try to play around with the parts designer, but it's giving me fits. Also, this is new to Studio. Panda Cursor is now the replacement for whatever the center on set origin or something like that. So now it's called Panda Cursor. Whatever that means. So what I was trying to do here is like, so we went into Parts Designer and I found the logo and I put it on all these parts, and these are kind of the typical parts that the logo appears on in classic space sets, right? The classic logo. And so I was trying to get this into Studio, but I can't. So I picked this part, or maybe I have to do these one at a time. Try searching torso under custom part. Search part torso. Yeah, I don't know why it just doesn't list it. I wonder if I did slope now. Yeah, see, there's my Q2 logo. And now here's all the printed parts. And now I bet if I do this and then I do... click on this and do that. No, it's not that. No, that's the buffer exchange. Yeah, so they have to be done individually. So I'll just remember that for next time. So bring that out, color it green. Oh God, this is too much fun. Just classic space head. Head. Minifig head. Minifigure head. Okay, just head. Minifigure head. Just classic minifigure head. All right. Where is just the classic minifigure head? There's a baby one. Apologies. You would think it'd be like the top one. I can't believe this is impossibly dumb. To look up the part just to get the stupid. Minifigure head. This should not be that hard to get just the stupid. What? What is going? Is today crazy day? Where is? Hi, Missy. How are you? Futuron monorail. So why does that not show up when I type in monorail? That's so dumb. I'm so frustrated. I'm so grouchy. Like the last couple days, I've been like the worst grouchy person ever. What's up, Seth? Not being able to smell or taste anything has been like really frustrating. Hands. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know why, like, I type in monorail and it's like, did you mean this lesser known space monorail? No. What's the monorail set everybody thinks of when you think of monorail? Yeah, not that one. It would have probably just... The problem is I think they had slightly different faces back then. I don't want printed anything. Hands. Missy and Seth, if you aren't aware of what we're working on right now, I had a spell check snafu that made me giggle. I wanted to write classic space and it changed it to Vlasic. So now I'm going to be making a bunch of Vlasic space sets. So I went to Parts Designer and found the logo and put it on torso and a bunch of other parts that I'll import in when needed. But I'm going to start with this. I think I can get away with that one. The classic space helmets don't have the snaps for visors, right? See, that's Futron. That's not really... One of these doesn't have... Or maybe they did. I don't know. See this little broken one that's Benny. Oh, I guess it does. Headgear, helmet, Space Town. Without visor dimples. Yeah, I think that, like... So, classic ones don't. I'm not going to be able to get it in green, so... It doesn't matter. But there you go. Vlasic space. Save as minifigure. So the idea is to take... So I'll give you an idea of the theme that I'm looking for. Yeah, there aren't visors in classic space, so they don't need the dimples. I personally, like, as much as I like classic space, I'm more of a Futron guy. And I think it has to do with, like, a little bit with the visors. I like the themes a little different. I mean the running out of energy here. The color scheme's a little better. So this is what I envision a lot of these to look like. So let's say we have something that looks like the Galaxy Explorer. Let's just get a big old wedge plate out here so we can kind of, so let's say we did this. Nice, yeah, do it. I'm gonna have to start looking at pieces that actually can be green. Like this is an exception. We'll group this guy so he doesn't show up as a bunch of exclamation points. But like this won't come in green. But the themes I'm thinking are like if that were a ship and then we did a slope. If I just picked slope, it's probably faster. 3 by something like this. Right? And that's a dark green. Or green. And then you get a brick. I still think trans yellow will work. So let's do, there's a brick without a tube, right? That can be trans yellow. This would be trans yellow. And then a brick that's also green. And you could probably do black a little bit. But then also you can do tile. I think you can do dark green in these tiles. So yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking of, right? Also, lots of round plates, like bumps on the pickles. And I think you can get these in dark green too. Nope, can't. All right, fair enough. So I'll get a couple of these, right? This would have been a good part to have. All right, let's do that. Yeah, I think that'll look good. A black accent might be okay every once in a while, so having some black pieces in there. Let's go back to our part selection and do file export as to studio, part name, yeah, export. Save as model 1. We'll just do that. Place it. Restart. I'll take the survey now. Thank you very much. And again, I'm not going to rebuild all of the ships that way. So like, I'm not just going to go through the catalog of classic space sets and rebuild them, but I just kind of want to build it in the style of like late 80s, early 90s space stuff. So, I mean, it might look a little classic or Futron or, you know. So if I go into custom parts and again, color it that. See, now we're cooking. So something like that. And then you can do modified plate. These guys. Trying to think if gray would still work. If not, we could do black. And then these are technically modified plates, right? The thrusters that we were talking about earlier. It's like a 2x4 modified. Is it a thruster? No, engine. Don't know what those are called. Oh yeah, I guess it is engine. And those can be in black. Because those only really come in black. Stuff like that. So that's kind of what you're looking at here. Vlasic Space. Hey Macro, what's up? I'm actually just getting ready to stop. I'm getting like, it's hard to focus. I'm getting a little lightheaded. I need to go lay down for a bit and I'm out of energy. Again, because I got COVID at Brick Rodeo and I'm on the tail end of it, but I'm at the, yeah, white engines, definitely. There was a lot of white engines in Futron. I remember that. So I'll work on accent colors. This isn't going to be like a huge project. I might throw some together between now and Brick Rodeo next year, but like my big projects are I'm going to have the Mars base to work on. The microfighters is still working on. I still want to do a really big Horizon Zero Dawn display, and then if I can do this by then throw in some of these too. But somebody asked what the theme for next year is, because the theme for this year at Brick Rodeo was Christmas in July. Next year, the theme, we're still nailing down what to call it. Actually, you know what? I'm not sure I can say anything yet. I don't know if it's a surprise or not. I will say that if you plan on attending next year, and I really hope that you all do, it's in Austin. I know it's Texas and people are adverse to being in Texas, and I get that. And if this summer is any indication, it's going to be really hot. But if you do make it out to Austin next year, I'd love to hang out with every single one of you guys. I know Missy will be here, so that's cool. Missy's good people. But yeah, Johnny and Vab, if you can get out from the East Coast and come out and visit, I'll take you out to some breweries and stuff. Building vertically is what we're going to be doing. So models that go up instead of just big flat empty space, or big flat things of like big castle, flat army building, base plates and stuff. So things that are a little more vertically, which is a kind of a challenge with Lego because it does get a little structurally weird with Lego. It's not as easy as it sounds. So I don't know what we're going to call it yet or anything, but we know what the con model is going to be. That'll be kind of a reveal next year, so I can't really give that away. But we got to order parts for it now. But I think the theme is to build taller. So, all right. Well, I apologize for the technical issues earlier with the stream restarting. Thank you guys for kind of catching up here. I appreciate you stopping by. If I'm feeling better on Tuesday, I'll pick this back up and maybe we'll work on, I need to make a Horizon Zero Dawn sign for the model. So maybe I'll do that. I've also got instructions I need to work on. There's all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, I think I'm going to cut it there, but VAB is all vertical. Cool. Well, I may need to pick your brain about stuff. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you later. Bye.